The year I was hungriest, I dated a sweet, broke college boy who could cook. All we did was eat and, well, each other. Eventually, I ate myself round, ghosted him, and fled overseas. When we met again, he was in haute couture, arrogant and untouchable. Riverdale's most feared billionaire heir. In the dim cellar, he kissed me while circling my throat, voice savage and starving. Baby, I've been hungry way too long. This time, you're the one who's going to feed me. Understand? My head felt stuffed with waterlogged cotton, heavy, dizzy. I forced my eyes open. The world blurred, then slowly sharpened. An alien, suffocating space. Mild mildew laced with cold cigarette smoke. I lay on an old sofa that wasn't quite soft. Concrete walls on every side. A single amber wall lamp giving up weak light. Where am I? The last frame in my memory. The gala's powder room. Fear wrapped around my heart like an ice-cold snake. I lurched up. Vertigo slammed me back down. Only then did I notice, deep in the corner, an old wooden chair, and someone sitting. A scarlet coal glowed at his fingertip, sketching the straight cut of his shoulders. He was smoking. The fumes tickled my throat. I coughed once. The coal died instantly. The shadow moved. He stood, walked out of the dark. Light crawled up his face. Chiseled jaw, thin lips, high nose bridge, and finally those eyes of black abyss, locked on me. My breath froze, my heart jackhammered. Sebastian, how? He stopped, crouched in front of me. I shrank back, guilt and terror flooding in. He grazed my cheek with ice-cold fingers, then tipped my chin, lips curved, eyes untouched by humor, voice low and lazy. Long time, baby. My scalp prickled. I faked bravado, gaze flicking everywhere. Who's your baby? I don't know you. No. His brow lifted. Fingers tightened, forcing my face higher. Doesn't matter. He leaned in, warm breath brushing my skin. We've got all the time you need to remember. What are you, Sebastian? Panic flared. I tried to yell. The rest was crushed beneath his mouth. I thrashed. He pinned my wrists behind me, knee wedging my legs still. Humiliation and terror gave me strength. I sank my teeth into his lip. Copper flooded my tongue. He hissed, pulled back a fraction. I gasped, lips stinging. Sebastian, you psycho. He licked the bead of blood away. Changed your mind about pretending we're strangers? Trembling, I shoved him, scrambled for the door. 2 steps, then an iron band snatched my waist, lifted me, crushed me against him. His arms were steel. I couldn't breathe. Let go. Bastard. I'll call the MMPH. Again his mouth silenced me. Only when light sparked behind my eyes did he free my lips. Moving to my ear, my throat, ragged and ravenous. Baby, I've starved too long. This time you'll be the one to fill me up, okay? And no, my whimper vanished. He was a wolf off the leash, claiming me the most primitive way he knew. When the storm finally passed, he carried me upstairs. After he cleaned me, he tucked me into a cloud-soft bed, slid in behind, folding me spoon-tight. I lay bored stiff, afraid to twitch. Sleep. His voice was gravel and satisfaction. Don't even think of running again. Eyes shut, mind reeling. I knew. I'm screwed. All because I once wanted a good meal. I'd hooked a monster I can't unhook. 3 years ago my parents hit the jackpot of windfall compensation from the demolition of our old neighborhood. To shove me into high society, they shipped me off to glittering Belmont. My classmates traded supercar specs and haute couture labels while I, brand name tags dangling, stayed the same girl who could be bought for a perfect bite. Sebastian became my desk mate. He didn't fit threadbare tees. Quiet as mist, eyes clear as alpine runoff, innocence untouched by the gold-plated chaos. But what snared me wasn't that face, it was his bento box. Every noon when the lid flipped open it felt like cathedral doors swinging wide, sweet and sour ribs gleaming scarlet, braised pork belly quivering between fat and lean, emerald veggies that looked still alive, pastries too pretty to eat, holy, sinful perfume. I drooled like a Saint Bernard. I knew he was broke. One Saturday, I prowled Food Street for snacks and spotted him at the smoky far end. White tee, oil-spattered apron, wrists flipping street-style crepes like a magician. Batter sizzled, steam haloed his face, sweat jeweled his temples. Art in motion. The smell, egg, bean sauce, crunchy crackers, nailed my shoes to the pavement. I stayed put. I wouldn't bruise his pride. Eventually, my staring burned a hole in his back. He turned. Grace. Want a taste. Sweet and sour ribs. Huh. My eyes bulged. F for me? He smiled. You've been eyeing them for, what? A month? Next second, a glossy rib lay on my napkin. I put it in my mouth like communion. Sweet tang detonated. Crust shattering into juicy meat. Fruit vinegar sparkling. So perfect, I nearly swallowed my tongue. Blissed out. I clutched his forearm, babbling, Sebastian, insane. This is explosively delicious. I'm hiring you. Cook only for me. The words hung. We both froze. His usually downcast eyes widened. Time hiccuped. I came to, face scalding, yanking my hand back, stammering, I meant your food. Just food. Nothing else. I'll pay. $3 grand a month. No. 5. Certain he'd refuse. I mean, what proud teenage guy signs up to be some girl's private chef? Seconds stretched. Lashes hid his eyes. Fingers curling on his textbook. Just as I tried to laugh it off, he lifted his gaze. Calm. Deal. That soft deal unlocked the happiest year of my life. The lake house my parents bought me became our secret cafeteria. After class, I dragged him inside. The kitchen was his kingdom. He knotted the bear-printed apron I'd picked, and turned supermarket staples into miracles that made me contemplate licking plates. Steamed sea bass so delicate it flaked at a glance. Painted with house blend soy, pure oceanic heroin. Oil braised prawns. Shells candy crisp. Meat popping in chili garlic gloss. Sent me through 2 bowls of rice. Even humble tomato egg, clouds of curd swimming in syrupy tomatoes. Sugar-acid ratio tuned like a Strad. Unbeatable over rice. I'd sprawl in the dining chair, rubbing my rounded belly. Certain nirvana was real. Eat. Then plan the next eating, rinse. Repeat. Bliss. Sure. His life upgraded too. New clothes? First he resisted. So I bargained. A sharp chef feeds my appetite better. He surrendered. Faded tees became soft linen shirts. Still quiet. Still calm. But now heads swiveled when he passed. And I felt a smug little flare. Look, girls, this gorgeous cook is mine. We got close, really close. Friday night, Sebastian laid out my favorites. Stargar grouper, crab tofu, blanched choy sum, and a cup of Buddha stewed all afternoon. I inhaled everything, licked my lips, and on impulse bounced into the kitchen. He stood at the sink, backlit, rinsing cookware. I patted over, poked his spine. He glanced back, holding a half-washed clay pot, brows raised. I stared at the damp hair curling on his forehead, at those steady clear eyes, and melted. Baby, you are incredible. How can anyone be this good? The instant the word baby left my lips, he went rigid. A visible flush swept across his cheeks in real time. He whipped his head away, voice tight. Don't say that. I leaned in, grinning. Why not? You're my own personal chef, my little god of cuisine baby. He hesitated, cheeks cherry red. Then, baby, can we skip tonight? I shook my head at once, hugging his arm and swinging it like a kid. We've barely started. I haven't had nearly enough. Tonight I don't say stop. You don't stop. Nyen nyen baby. You're the best. I need more of your food. In my head I was already bargaining for fresh-baked cookies or a custom bubble tea nightcap. He looked at me for a long moment, then ruffled my hair. All right. Minutes later a small plate of perfectly golden almond cookies, fragrant and still warm, appeared beside a mug of Ovaltine at just the right temperature. I ate happily, mouth syrupy sweet, circling him in a chorus of a baby and a babe, crowning him the greatest chef alive. Sebastian hardly spoke, but with every praise his earlobes burned brighter. When I finally quieted, sipping slowly, he spoke so softly I almost missed it. Baby, will you ever not want me anymore? Leave me behind? I was too buzzed on sugar to think. No way. I'm not stupid. Where would I find food this good? I'm sticking to you for life. That food-based vow hit him like an arrow. He ducked his head, a shy little smile tugging at his lips. After a beat he lifted his gaze, dead serious. Then it's settled. From now on I cook for you alone. Deal? Best news ever. I beamed, nodded hard. Deal. Pinky promise. He gave a soft echoing, pinky promise. Sebastian apparently took my sticking to you literally. He began to change. Before, he'd been silent, precise, like the sharpest knife in the block. Now he turned clingy. While cooking he'd glance back to check I was still on the sofa scrolling on my phone. If I wasn't in sight he'd stop, call my name, wait for an answer. He talked more, too. No longer just, what do you want? Or, is the salt okay? He told me how the market lady threw in extra scallions. That fish only sears when the wok smokes. How at 5 he stood on a stool to flip his first omelet. Even as I scarfed food, he'd prop his chin on his hand, stare, and ask, good, like it, want it again tomorrow? My mouth usually full, I'd nod furiously, mumbling, At first the attention felt unreal. Being watched and pampered by a gorgeous culinary genius is a serious ego trip. But after weeks the weight started pressing on me. I loved the food, the pure joy of it. Yet I'd never signed up to carry someone else's laser-focused feelings. I was just hungry for his cooking. The pressure peaked one night after a shower. I stood at the mirror, really looked. My face was rounder, skin glowing, once sharp waist now soft. A gentle curve of flesh where flatness used to be. I poked the pouch of my belly and panicked. A whole year of Sebastian's feeding had padded me with pounds I'd never imagined. Sudden dread flooded in. I couldn't let life narrow to nothing but eating. I had to lose weight, had to leave. Right then an acceptance email arrived from a decent university overseas. My parents had applied as a joke and I'd forgotten. Perfect timing. In a heartbeat I decided, Go. Disappear. Don't tell a soul. Not even mom and dad. I rushed the paperwork, bought a ticket, and hid everything. The night before departure, Sebastian made a banquet of every favorite I had. He glowed, smile constant, loading my plate. Baby, eat more. Watching him, a twinge of guilt flickered, but escape smothered it. I was just the client. He was paid to cook. Cash on delivery. Nothing more. I repeated it like a mantra. Next morning, while he was out, I sped back to the lake house, stuffed clothes into a suitcase. In the living room I paused, then set down the envelope I'd prepared, a black card with his birthday as pin, and a post-it in breezy TV drama scrawl. Got bored. Gone. I placed it dead center, grabbed my bag, and walked out without looking back. 2 years later I'd successfully hacked away every soft ounce Sebastian had coaxed on me. I was thinner than ever. Classes barely passed. Diploma in hand. I flew home last week feeling reborn. The windfall compensation my parents had pocketed had shrunk under reckless spending and bad bets, so they shoved me into Riverdale high society hoping I'd snag a moneyed husband and restore the family balance sheet, which is how I ended up at this glittering gala. Crystal chandeliers, silk gowns, tinkling laughter, clutching borrowed haute couture. I nursed champagne like an imposter swan on a crowded lake. Then I saw him, center of gravity in a black tailored tux. Taller, colder, power crackling around him like static. Sebastian, newly acknowledged heir of Caldwell, already running the empire. Whispers floated, young, ruthless, raised in exile, came back swinging, born for the throne. Ice froze my veins. Him, impossible. I tried to duck behind diamond-dripping guests, praying he wouldn't notice. As if summoned, his gaze pierced the crowd and locked on me. He narrowed his eyes, a shadow I couldn't read flickering inside. He murmured something to the tycoon beside him and headed straight for me. Silence rippled. Every curious stare stuck to my skin. My heart drummed against my ribs. He stopped inches away, tall enough that light disappeared behind him. Don't believe we've met, he said smoothly. Your surname? Lin. I croaked. Lin, he echoed, pitch tilting. He bent close, breath brushing my ear. You look remarkably like someone I used to know. The chill of cedar and champagne swirled around me. Panic spiked. Excuse me, restroom. I shoved away, stumbling down the corridor. I didn't dare glance back, yet I felt his gaze branding my spine. At the end of the hall, the powder room sign beckoned. I exhaled, then footsteps whispered behind. Before I could turn, a sickly sweet cloth clamped over my mouth. I thrashed, horror blooming, but strength drained fast and darkness swarmed in. I woke on a sour-smelling mattress in a dim cellar reeking of mildew and smoke. Dawn next day. Every muscle screamed as if I'd been run over. I patted the space beside me. Empty. Sebastian was gone, my shot at escape. I threw on clothes and bolted. Buzz, my phone, Adrian calling. Hey, Adrian, I answered, jogging toward the gate. What's up? Grace. I drafted your new maintenance plan, his calm voice said. When can we meet? I'm free now, I said. Downtown cafe. See you there. Drive safe. You too. I'd met Adrian overseas, star nutritionist, lifesaver, friend. Honestly, without his hawkeye, I'd never have trimmed down. I slipped out of the lake house, hailed a cab, and headed straight for downtown Riverdale. Grace. Over here. Adrian waved from a corner table. He wore a dove gray linen suit today, looking almost impossibly gentle. I pulled out the chair across from him. Adrian, I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Don't apologize. I enjoy waiting for you. He slid a neat folder across the table. This is the new plan. Way easier to execute than the old one. Wow. Thanks. I took it, already grinning. You're so good to me. He lowered his gaze to stir his coffee. Grace. Actually, I flipped pages. Actually what? He met my eyes and stammered. I like you. Sorry. What? I sipped coffee. You mumbled. Nothing. Forget it. He scratched the back of his head. If you ever need help, I'm your guy. Perfect. Because I do need a favor. I closed the file. I need you to dig into Sebastian. Sebastian? Adrian repeated thoughtfully. Yeah. The sweet scholarship boy who used to cook for me. He's Caldwell's crown prince now, and after 2 years away he's different. I want to know what happened. Consider it done, Adrian said. I'll text you the minute I have something. Sebastian pushed open the lake house door, a paper bag of warm osmanthus crisps in hand. Sunrise errand to the old bakery downtown because I used to whine about craving them while refusing to get up early enough to go myself. Baby, you up. I brought your crisps. His mild voice drifted through the empty living room. No answer. A bad premonition crawled up his spine. He took the stairs 2 at a time and threw open the bedroom door. The sheets were twisted. The room Room deserted. Bathroom, closet, balcony. He checked every square inch. Nothing. She was gone. Again. The pastry box slipped from his fingers, smacked the marble floor, and popped open. Flaky osmanthus crisps scattered like pale rose petals. Sebastian stood frozen, spine rigid. His phone vibrated in his pocket. He pulled it out. A text from his assistant popped up with 2 high-resolution photos. Sebastian Vance is currently at Cloud Peak Cafe downtown with an unidentified male. Conversation looks intimate. Sunlight poured through the cafe window, gilding the 2 people inside. And there she was, laughing. Eyes curved like crescent moons, dazzling another man. The sight stabbed straight through Sebastian's pupils. A humorless laugh rasped in his throat. He crushed the phone, veins bulging across the back of his hand as though he could bend the metal. He speed-dialed his assistant. Voice glacial. 10 minutes. I want everything on that man. Name. Resume. Shoe size. And every second he's ever spent with Grace. Don't miss a thing. Yes, Sebastian. Night had fallen by the time I dragged myself home. Exhausted. Mom and Dad pounced the instant I stepped inside. Grace. Where on earth were you last night? Your phone was dead. We were frantic. Mom seized my shoulders, inspecting every inch. It's fine. I got tired after the gala and crashed at a friend's. I forced a smile. Mom's sharp gaze landed on the bruised red love bite peeking above my collarbone, and her face blanched. What is that on your neck? She reached to tug my blouse lower. I jerked back, slapping a hand over the mark. Heart hammering. Just a mosquito bite. Mosquitoes don't leave hickeys. Mom shot back. Tell me the truth. Who were you with? Dad strode over, brow furrowed. Grace. Talk to us. My cheeks burned. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. A low, resonant voice answered from the doorway. I was with her. All 3 of us whipped around. Sebastian stood just inside the foyer, framed by 2 assistants in black suits. Tailored haute couture emphasized every imposing inch of him. Mom and Dad stared, recognizing the most feared new power in Riverdale. As Sebastian, Dad recovered first, awe mixing with disbelief. What brings you here? Sebastian's gaze brushed across my mortified face, then settled on my parents. Apologies, Mr. and Vance. Grace spent last night with me. He paused. That mark is mine. I wanted the floor to open and swallow me. Mom gasped. Dad's expression cycled through shock, confusion, and calculation. Without waiting for an invitation, Sebastian angled his head. The assistants filed in, setting heaps of priceless gifts on the coffee table, gleaming jewelry boxes, wild ginseng, bird's nest tins, neat stacks of black cards. I'm here to formally request your daughter's hand in marriage, Sebastian announced. Consider these initial betrothal gifts. The full ritual will follow. Marriage. I squeaked. Sebastian, this is insane. I refuse. Mom yanked me aside, voice a frantic whisper. Zip it. Grace. Mom, you know our company's hanging by a thread. Caldwell Cash could sew everything back together. Sebastian showing up with betrothal gifts is a miracle. Do not blow it. I don't love him. I can't auction myself off. Love won't pay suppliers. Wake up. Marry him and you'll want for nothing. Neither will we. Swallow your pride. Mom's words felt like nails hammering my feet to the floor. I glanced at Dad. He gazed at the gifts, silent, shoulders sagging. Tears blurred my vision. Under my parents' desperation and Sebastian's unwavering stare, I nodded. Mom exhaled, smile snapping into place. Sebastian, pay no attention to her. She's young and reckless. We're honored. Dad managed a weak grin. Please, sit. I'll brew some tea. No need, Sebastian replied, eyes still locked on me. I have business. Grace. He extended his hand, an order, not an invitation. I brushed shaking fingers across his palm. His grip clamped shut. Fierce. Certain. We'll take our leave, Sebastian told my parents. Of course. Drive safely, they chimed. Practically bowing, he led me out to the waiting Maybach. City lights strobing across tinted glass. The door thudded shut, sealing us in darkness scented with new leather. Engine purred, pulling away from the curb. Suddenly Sebastian hauled me across the seat, pinning me across his thighs. What are you? My protest died, smothered under his mouth. One arm viced my waist, locking me against him. The other hand cupped the back of my head, angling for a deeper, branding kiss. Let go. I pounded his chest, tears leaking as I writhed. He only tightened, bending me until my spine protested, kissing me harder. Punishment disguised as passion. Humiliation exploded. Sobs climbed my throat, salt slipping between our fused lips. He drew back a fraction. Why the tears? His rough thumb swept my cheek. That's your penalty for running away again. We ended a year ago. I paid you for every meal. Stop haunting me. This is kidnapping with cufflinks. At that his eyes went arctic, fingers digging into my hip. It matters, he hissed. You promised you wouldn't leave. Then you ghosted me. You're impossible. His hand shackled my chin. Little liar. You have to, he murmured, bending to kiss me again. Stay with me forever. You're completely irrational. There's zero logic MMPH. Just as I was about to suffocate in his arms for the second time. A loud growl ripped from my stomach. Sebastian froze. He eased away from my lips and stared at my belly. Hungry, he chuckled softly and released me. I turned my face away, mortified and furious, while my traitorous stomach kept rumbling, each gong louder than the last. He didn't say another word, only told the driver to go faster. The car swept up to a palatial lake house. Sebastian climbed out first, lifted me into his arms, and carried me into the vast, sunlit open kitchen. He set me on a tall stool at the center island. Sit, don't move. He shrugged off his suit jacket, rolled the cuffs of his white shirt to the elbows, exposing lean, corded forearms. I watched, dazed, while he yanked open the massive Sub-Zero, hauled out groceries, knotted an apron around his waist, and stationed himself at the 6-burner range. Chop, oil, sizzle, every motion fluid, confident, steam curled, fragrance thickened. It was the smell of every dish I loved most. Sweet and sour ribs, buttery shrimp with scallions, silken tofu crowned with crab roe. Minutes later the island was an edible rainbow. He untied the apron, slid onto the stool opposite, and parked a bowl of pearly rice beside me. Eat. My stomach howled louder. I'm not hungry, I snapped. And Adrian says greasy food late at night is bad for you. Adrian, he echoed, each syllable grating through clenched teeth. Such a cozy nickname. None of your business. I scowled. He shot to his feet, circled the island, scooped up the bowl and chopsticks, speared a glistening rib, and shoved it at my mouth. Eat. I pressed my lips together and jerked my head away. His eyes turned arctic. The chopstick tips grazed my skin. So my food's garbage. But his would be gourmet? Sebastian, you're impossible. I tried to stand. I'd barely turned when a vice of fingers clamped my wrist and yanked me back. I landed hard across his thighs, locked against him. Let go. I thrashed. My elbow bashed the hand that held the bowl. Crash, rice and ribs avalanched across my silk blouse and his suit pants. Gravy dripping everywhere. He didn't glance at the mess. He simply loaded a plump shrimp and forced it to my lips. Eat. No. You're insane. Let me. I writhed. You obey him that blindly? He pinched my chin until my teeth parted. Do you love him? You bastard. I sobbed. Yes. I love Adrian. At least he never tortures me. Good. Great. Sebastian kept feeding me until everything came right back up. Only then did he release me. Suddenly gentle. Sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I was numb. He carried me to the bathroom, cleaned me, tucked me under the covers, and spooned me from behind, face buried in my neck. Grace, don't love him. Love me, okay? Just love me. The next few days Sebastian was supposedly swamped, gone at dawn, home after midnight, sometimes absent entirely. The glittering lake house became my gilded cage, huge rooms, every exit manned, my phone confiscated, the outside world erased. When I tried chatting with the stone-faced staff, they only bowed. Ma'am asked to rest. Caldwell's orders. 1 week later, while delivering afternoon tea, an older housekeeper slipped a burner phone into my palm and whispered, Adrian called. Urgent. Hurry. She shut the door behind her. My heart jackhammered. Adrian. I locked myself in the powder room and answered. Adrian, is that you? Are you okay? Grace. Thank God. Listen, I've dug up things about Sebastian, major stuff, he said. Voices and sirens crackling behind him. Right after you left overseas, Caldwell brought him home, but the families of Viper Pit, 2 years of boardroom assassins, car brakes failing, poison drinks, he survived them all. I bribed a clerk for his medical file. It's guarded. But Grace, the mania, the crashes, it's textbook bipolar, hyper-energetic highs, black hole lows, probably triggered by the constant threats. He's unstable, and toward you he's, a thunderous bang cut him off, like a door splintering, then a sharp cry. A thud. Rushing feet. Adrian. Adrian. What happened? I screamed into the phone. Silence. Thick. Icy. Then a voice like a scalpel. Grace. Sebastian. Holding Adrian's phone. Anyone who covets you gets erased. Click. Droning tone. I sagged onto the cold tile, shaking so hard my teeth rattled. What would he do to Adrian? Erased. How? Sometime later an engine rumbled outside. I stumbled downstairs. Sebastian strode in, handed his coat to an aide. Expression blank. What did you do to Adrian? Where is he? I yelled. He advanced slowly, ignoring the question, and brushed my cheek with glacial fingers. Sent him overseas, far away from you. I shoved his hand. Are you sick? What do you want? Yes, I'm sick. A manic grin stretched his mouth. You know now, don't you? He told you. The calm in his eyes shattered into fever-bright shards. He seized my my wrist. Even insane. I'll never let you leave. No one takes you. No one. Another episode. This time he imprisoned me on the top floor. Windows nailed shut. Guards outside day and night. He'd visit. Murmur terrors and longing. Or explode because I'd nibbled only 2 bites or stared too long at the lake. Struggle bought tighter chains. Gradually I saw the scar my sudden disappearance had left. Head-on defiance would drown us both. I started trying small repairs. Asked about his day. Cooked when he let me. Days folded into weeks. He removed the bedroom guard. Let me roam the lake house. Even took me on short drives. One cool evening after rain we stood on the sun terrace. Sunset gilding his profile gentle for once. I nestled against his chest. Felt his heart steady. And whispered, Sebastian, I won't run anymore. His body tensed. I looked up, forcing sincerity into my gaze. I was scared. I was angry. But I know you won't hurt me, right? My arm slid around his waist. Let's stay like this. I'll be here. He stared down at me. Forever? I nodded. Forever. He crushed me to him, burying his face in my neck. Grace. My Grace. That night a nightmare ripped him awake, drenched in cold sweat, shaking. He clung to me, muttering horrors. I stroked his back. Sebastian, let's see a doctor, together. I want you well. I want us well. He went rigid, silent an eternity, then hugged me tighter and rasped, okay, but you stay with me. I will. We went. Therapy, meds, relapses, tiny triumphs, slow, brutal, but the graph finally curved upward.